Hello and welcome, guys. Thank you for joining me again for another night of Facebook Live. I also want to take time out to recognize those that catch the replay from YouTube and or SoundCloud. I am your host, Tricia Bray Smith, author, educator, and public speaker. It is indeed a blessing to be here with you tonight. As tonight we're asking or posing the question, are you watching? Are you watching? And no, I don't necessarily mean watching me every night as I sit here at 10 p.m. I'm talking about paying attention to the world around you. So I won't hold you long tonight, but as you guys are logging on to join me tonight, feel free to like and share this video. Please like and share this video so that others on your timeline can join in the conversation with us tonight. And if you have a comment, feel free to leave your comment or question in the comment section. Also, if you're there with me, go ahead and send me a shout out and let me know that you are here tonight. Last night I came to share with you about how we shine through our storms and how we're just going. And that's the way most of us women and men, we are wired. We continue to go, and never give thought that sometimes we just need to sit back and take a reset. So for the past 24 hours, I have taken that reset for my life. So I put the electronic devices down and just kind of focused on me. Just took a day of relaxation, just a day to unwind and get my thoughts and my emotions together. And needless to say, as I worked on focusing on me today, the question is posed to me, are you watching? And guys, I know that it is so easy sometimes for us to get caught up in the world system. We're so entertained by Greenleaf, through the Housewives, by the Law and Order, and Lifetime. But have we really taken into consideration of the things that are coming at us minute by minute, that in the long run will have a great impact on our life? I was sitting here and I was happened to stroll through the news about 40 minutes ago, and it's talking about how the unemployment rate is getting so high, and how everyone's been that has been unemployed was getting pacified with a $600 weekly stipend, and now how that's going away, and now how the president's taken on his upon himself to bypass the Congress and all that and sign some things into place, and how now he's imposing some of that that they've started onto each individual states, and now the states are faced with how are they going to move on from here. Hey Diane, how are you, hon? Glad you're here. And so there is so much going on in the world around us that sometimes, guys, I think we get caught sleeping. I think we get caught sleeping because when we look at where that $600 a week extra stipend or income was going, when we look at that and we look at the dynamics of those who may have been getting those benefits, my question now is, where is the result of what you were getting? Because I know that I live in a high poverty area. And in a high poverty area, guys, we are the ones that are going to be on the front line and the ones that are going to be most at risk for anything that comes along. And when I look at it, we are the ones that are buying things. We are consuming every day. Every day we leave our house to go to the store to buy something or to purchase something. We're buying new cars, so we're getting in finance. We're getting in greater debt because we're getting these good deals on these cars with these high interest rates. And we're we're renting. We're renting. We're not owning anything. And so all I see is debt stacked on top of debt, stacked on top of debt, and it's us. We're the ones that are going to be on the front line when it comes to now the economy's crashing or there's something that's going on. Where do we go from here? Where does that leave our families? Have we invested in generational wealth? I tell you what we are investing in. We are investing in poor health because we won't eat right. We're investing in more debt because we're getting into things now because things have been so well for us. But what about later on down the road? I even heard a talk about getting extra food vouchers and benefits of that nature. And guys, this may be so, but now, hey Keisha, how are you, baby? But now is the time that over the past several months, we should have been developing healthier habits. Not only healthier habits for our health and nutrition, but for the way we look at our money and the way we spend it and the way we care for our households. There are some of us are just a paycheck away from being homeless, from being put out of our home, from having our cars repossessed, from our next meal. So my question to you is what I asked tonight is, are you watching? Are you really watching? Or have you been so caught up in the green leaves and in the housewives that you've neglected to see what's going on in the world around you? Have you invested in yourself? And if you have, in what way is that going to benefit you in the long run? Hey, Miss Nelson, how are you, hon? It's good to see you ladies with me tonight. It just makes my heart glad that, you take the time out to sit here and have a conversation with me at night. It really makes me glad. And this is why it's so important that sometimes we have to have the hard conversations. And the hard conversation is tonight, I have to ask the question, are you watching? Are you watching what's going on in the world around you? Because this is real stuff. This is real life. I mean, there's no way that we can get around this, and it's good in our mind that we can say what we're not going back to and what we will not put up with. But you know what? Money gives you options. Money is the only thing in this world that gives us options. And if you don't have money, and if you're not managing money, and if you're not in a position to where you're telling money what to do, and the money is drawing you and it's sifting through your fingers, you don't have those options. And when you owe debt and the economy continues to dwindle down and the debts are so high and they're unpaid, where does that leave us? Where does that leave us when we have to consider how these debts are going to be taken care of? It wasn't so long ago that, we were in a situation of where we were slaves. Slavery existed. And the way this country was built was upon the work of slaves. So they give you a piece of shelter over your head, or they give you a piece of scrap to eat, very little to no wages, but you have to do the work to pay off a debt that you can never repay. And guys, when I look at our society and our world today, we're not far from it. We're not far from it. And all the knowledge in the world can't keep us from dwindling down in an economy that is drowning quickly, especially when we don't have investments in the right place, when our mindsets aren't in the right place. So are you really watching what is going on? Have you made the necessary connections to keep you afloat and keep you in a position to where you can keep your head above water? Have you developed healthier habits? And I know I've asked this question before, but guys, I have to ask it. I have to keep it on your mind, because if we don't develop healthier habits when it comes to our money and when it comes to how we manage the life and our world around us, we're going to sink fast. We're going to sink fast because we're not going to have the options. We won't have the resource to have a say. Time now, what we should be really looking at is, are we registered to vote? And how we're going to exercise that right once we are registered. And that's not to say that anything is going to get any better, but it does allow you at least to have a voice in what goes on. So when I look at the economy the way it is, and so many businesses going out of businesses, and so many people still unemployed, we're scrapping for food to eat. And guys, a lot of the food isn't very good. I mean, I went to the farmer's market a couple weeks ago, and the selection wasn't very good. At a farmer's market, I mean, it just wasn't very good at all. And here in this area, and then I'm like, what do you do? Where do you go? And then the prices are inflating, they're going up, and then the money that's coming in is less and less. It's not growing. If it does anything, it's less. We do not have it coming in. And yet we're trying to maintain, and my job is to educate. That's what I do. So I cannot fail to sit here to let us know that, guys, we need to be aware of the things that are going on around us. Now it's not the time to be going and grabbing other debts and packing it on top of us. It's time to maintain what we have, and to tell our money where to go and what to do, so that we won't be so bombarded as this economy and things are rapidly dwindling down. So are you watching? And you can say, yes, I'm watching. Yes, I'm aware. What are you doing about it? And then answer the question, what exactly are you watching? What are you watching? And are you connected to the spiritual source? Are you so sensitive to his voice that you know exactly that you're being led in the right direction and that you're making conscious decisions? The hardest decision that anyone is faced with right now, where I'm at, is, do we send our kids back to school? And guys, this has been Donna Weber. How are you? Appreciate you joining me, and let me know that you're here with me tonight. This has been a decision that many families are faced with. They're having to make the decision for themselves. Do I send my child to school? And instead of us coming together and having an adult conversation about the issues that are real in our world, we make a mockery out of it. We dramatize it. We want to fight about it. We want to be condescending. But guys, these are real questions that our parents and our families need real conversation about. Because one thing that I know is that our churches, our religious organizations who I've pleaded with to stand up and take a stand and allow these families more options, we're still sitting back trying to figure out, what do we do? Well, guess what? We should have already had a plan in place. We know that these parents need to send their kids to school, or we know that these parents are concerned about their children's education, but yet we haven't helped them come up with options. All we want to do is sit back and complain about the issue of what's going on. Every church in our community should have internet, should have a place set up so that our children can divide up and have a place to go to get their education. Even if the teacher had to come in to give the education, to keep from crowded in one area. Because we know that eventually we're going to have to do something. And what I see as a result of our kids going back to school, and you can have an issue with it or not, but it increases the risk of our kids getting sick. And not only that, it increases the risk that there's a possibility that our children can begin to die. And that is just the reality of it all. We don't know. We don't understand this thing. We don't know and understand the air we breathe. They're telling me now that just sitting inside my house, that the air that I'm breathing, I could be breathing in this COVID air. Just to breathe. So when I go into a classroom setting with my children, or when the children are collectively together playing their sports and doing whatever it is that they do, then that increases the risk. So then the families are left with, have they put a life insurance policy in place? Do they have the medical insurance in place? What's their plan for when we send our kids? What's the plan for when the child gets sick? Do we wait and see what's going to happen? Not only that, what about the teachers? Because the teachers, we're older, we're I think would be more a risk factor than our kids will. What happens when the teachers die out? Then what? So it's not a matter of criticizing and picking back and forth at one another. We do what we choose that we want to do. But my question to you is, are you watching the things that are going on? And what are you doing about it? What kind of options do you have? What kind of plans do you have in place? Because I can say that looking at my life and my world around me, the two main things that are important to me, which is the economy and the air I breathe, are the two main things that are impacted right now. These are the two main things that I'm faced with right now. So guys, we really need to think about, we really need to start having some conversations. It's not enough wait to sit around and wait for somebody else to want to, for somebody else to find a solution for us. We should know enough. We should have enough people around us that we can sit and have an adult conversation. And we can agree to disagree. But we have to ask the hard questions. So are you watching? That is my question to you tonight. Are you watching? And my thoughts and my prayer with you is, I certainly hope so. And I certainly hope that you're counting up all the costs. Because I am doing everything within me to stay focused on what's important, to build healthier habits, and to make sure that when I sit here, that when I have an opportunity to make us aware or to bring the hard conversations that no one's talking about, and to be just open and honest with you, I'm doing just that because you're important to me. Not only that, but your family. So I appreciate you guys joining me tonight. I know this hasn't been necessarily something we want to hear, but guys, it is necessary. It is necessary that we begin to ask the questions and have the conversations with our loved ones, with the people around us, with our church groups, with people who are in authority that are making decisions for us. I am your host, Antricia Brace Smith, author, educator, and public speaker. I'll meet you right back here tomorrow night, 10 p.m. Good night, everybody.